1, 2, 3, 4.
Hello, and welcome to the Business Balance Podcast. Thank you for joining us on our first episode. Our podcast is made to educate on the balance of business through community and politics. My name is Peyton, and I'm joined here with Quinn.
Good afternoon.
Joey.
How's it going?
And Will.
Hello. And for our first guest, we have very special Mayor Chuck Bennett. Chuck, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for asking me. I didn't realize it was your first one.
Right.
Yeah. Chuck Bennett was a former member of the House of Representatives. He has a record of 9+ years, and as we learned earlier, he's been in this room for more than 50 years, is that what you said?
Off and on.
As a reporter, among plenty of other things.
Today's topic is about business in city politics and how they find balance to be beneficial for the community. Mayor Bennett, how much of your responsibility as mayor would you say revolves around balancing business and community?
It's actually a surprisingly substantial part of what we do. The city council, because it's the local government, is also kind of the first regulatory agency that people trying to do business, build a building, hook up electrical, attach water, plumbing. It's all those kind of basic things you need to have. We're going to be our first stop. You need building permits, you need other kinds of permits. Now, the one thing that is missing here in Salem that's notable for what you all are talking about, we don't have a business license here. That's one of the most common calls I get is...
Yeah, we don't have a general business license.
No, we don't. You can open your business, go into business, and if you don't have to come in contact with us, we don't even know you're here.
Right.
Oh, wow, I didn't even know that.
It's really in the area of land use and sort of infrastructure delivery that we become involved with business. And if they need some help, we have a whole range of programs that we've developed, urban renewal and other programs we have here, economic development programs. Probably the best known of our urban renewal areas is the downtown urban renewal area. It's been in effect for over 40 years. So we have been urban renewing downtown Salem all those years. And from when I moved here 50 years ago, the town has changed dramatically, downtown especially. A lot of it has been done through urban renewal. The mall, downtown Salem Center Mall, and Nordstrom's are, the overarching goal was downtown Salem would be the regional shopping center. And so far we've been able to hold on to that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of competition out there.
Right.
Yeah.
And we can see, and you all are probably more aware of it than most, there is a really substantial realignment of retailing nationwide, if not worldwide. It's just changing dramatically.
Oh, definitely.
It's the kind of Amazon effect. It's other issues like that. And the result is downtown we've seen some real changes. Penny's is now empty. Nordstrom's is empty. The mall is 80% empty.
Yeah.
It is, and I got a call from a mayor, one of the former mayors who was mayor when all this work was done to create the current downtown as we see it today. And it was sort of like, what's happening? You know, what are you guys doing wrong? And I explained to him that it's been, and sometimes we all forget, it's been 40 years since this particular configuration of a downtown, downtown retailing and all that was in place. And it's sort of time. It's changed enough that we're going to see just a complete realignment downtown. We'll see more housing. We'll see small shops. Big box stores are, really being replaced by the internet and all of its shopping opportunities. So we're seeing quite a change occurring, and it's a tax system where the property tax, there's a rate set based on what everything's worth downtown today. Okay? And then that is frozen during the life of the urban renewal program. And any increased value, which like the Grand Hotel, a tremendous increased value, that goes back into the urban renewal area and it pays for infrastructure. It helps buy land, sets up grant programs, all those kind of things. So it is its own economic engine that allows it to take care of itself.
Yeah, and you would define an urban renewal as in like a place where people go to shop?
No, actually, it's interesting. The newest thing we've done with urban renewal, you know where the state hospital is out on Center Street?
Yeah.
You go out Center Street, the new one is on your right, and then on the left is the old North Campus of the state hospital. We used an urban renewal structure, and it's what is kind of a mini urban renewal area on just that block, kind of from 25th to Park, from D to Center.
Yeah.
And froze the taxes, and now we're in the process of creating development. We aren't doing it, it's being done by a local developer, and those taxes will be reinvested essentially into his project. It was a way to get both affordable housing, and we really badly need multifamily housing. Places, I forget what the vacancy rate now is. It's something like 2 or 3%, which is sort of turnover rate. You know, if you're moving, you'll be vacating. There's just enough time to vacate and move in a 3% environment.
Yeah.
It's not very easy to come here and find a place or come out of school. You know?
Definitely.
And financing looks like just like business loans and
We do business loans, business grants, business advice, business, you know, it's kind of all that. Another one that's been really going very well, I think, has been the Portland Road Urban Renewal, it's called Northgate, but it's Portland Road Urban Renewal Area. And if you go out there, that has just changed dramatically. And keeps moving out. So a good example, there's a new cheese company out there. Right across from you guys.
Talking about it.
You guys are part of that. We were able, I mentioned to you, we have invested $2.5 million into CTEC.
Yes.
That came from urban renewal funds. And the argument I made to the council that I think really convinced them to make that investment is part of urban renewal is workforce.
Yeah,
we just defined you all as future workforce. This was a good way to invest these kinds of funds in our economic future, was to have you guys part of the deal.
So there was I assume there was like a council meeting about CTEC of how much money you guys should fund into it, or if it's even like worth it in the first place. Is that what I got from?
What they needed was some help with some very specific projects. And when they came to us, we had to figure out how to do it, because normally we wouldn't put money into a nonprofit or education. Really, there's always been kind of, there's city, county, state education. They don't always interact financially, but this one had all of the right pieces. It took an old factory, the old computer factory there, was upgrading it. It needed certain kinds of equipment in order to train a workforce to continue with this. And it brought a faculty out to that neighborhood, so it improves their people will use the area around them for shopping, whether it's lunch or something like that.
Always on lunch.
And then also, I think the anticipation was 1,000 students. I think was the ultimate goal. That's a lot of people being brought into Northgate. There are a lot of people in Salem who have never really been out Portland Road. They don't even know what's out there.
I've been out there till CTEC.
Right. And I've noticed it's grown with like the food cars going
Exactly.
on there.
Like as soon as CTEC was up there, Portland Road just.
Oh, it really was. We were part of that
We were
process.
part of
It was putting in those crosswalks. The Croc Center was kind of part of it. There's really been a lot. That big apartment complex near you is another. Now that's a low-income project, but it's a beautiful project, and that's by the same people who did CTEC, the same developer. Quite a.
And so, do they go through you before they like? Do they have to have permission to use that land area to build? And is that what you guys tackle a lot during like city council meetings?
Well, us and the planning commission, we look at the land use and how the land use fits out there, and are there services, and what's it going to cost? What do we have to have in terms of sidewalks and streets? does it fit into the area? That one actually went through for the housing out there went through with those pieces in front being set up as commercial pieces. We expected the cheese factory, which was located in Albany, wanted to expand into Salem. So they came up.
It's interesting.
But it's the land use we have probably the most control over. You asked in some questions that were sent to me about Amazon. The incentive, number one, we have the land shovel ready. It was at the right attractive, and we were very fortunate. We argued, I know when I met with them, it was, we have the workforce kind of able to take Amazon in and absorb Amazon. And have a workforce, and we felt very fortunate to get them, frankly.
Yeah.
And it's a distribution center. It's not, they're not making any. And if I understand it correctly, I've only been out there once. If you have not been there, it's really worth seeing. It's the biggest thing.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Just unbelievably big.
Really square feet.
But it's large items like you buy if you buy a washing machine on Amazon, it will probably come out of Salem. If it's bigger than a bat, was the way I had it described to me, it probably will come out of this one. If it is the smaller items, it'll come out of Troutdale.
Okay.
For this particular, now that's how I had it described to me. That's how they get that one-day delivery on your Prime. On your Prime account. Amazon's a challenge for everybody. I mean, you can buy anything, clearly.
It really
It's great.
I'm always blown away by it. If I can't find, I'll go to one of the local stores and look around. Well, you can order it from us. So if you go home and you turn on your computer to order something, you start at Amazon. It's the first place you go. That was not the concern. That was not what was said to us. The concern that businesses had was, number one, they needed 1,000 people, 1,000 to 2,000 people to work there.
Yeah.
Who are they going to get? I mean, I've got a small business. I got a barista here that I'm paying $10 an hour, and they're coming in at $15 an hour. Their minimum was 15. They so jumped.
They did.
The wage scale they really down.
They did.
It did. I mean, if you watch what happened, all of a sudden, if you wanted to keep your employees, and most employers do because their employees are trained, they know how the business works, they're there. They were very concerned, and I think rightly so, that what are they going to do to hang on? And then Amazon offered a health benefit and an education benefit.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's like
for
a $15, $16 an hour job to have all those pieces.
Very attractive offer,
Yeah,
Very
it definitely is.
So that's that was the big worry. I don't think it hasn't played out as kind of the doomsday picture people had of what was going to happen, but it still was an economic shock to some of our small businesses, but it wasn't the competition except for employees, which is good for employees. For all employees. Not a bad deal for the average wage earner in town. And it also, with 1,000 to 2,000 people, helped us achieve one of the other goals we have, which is to diversify the city's employment base off of government. I mean, when you think about it, we got state, city, county, school district. There are a lot of government.
That's true.
A third or so of our jobs are in that sector. So when you get a problem like COVID, or you have something go wrong, whatever can go wrong in government, it's a huge hit. To have it broadened kind of kept us really from going into real deep losses here. Our unemployment rate during the COVID experience during the past year went from like 3%, which is sort of nothing, 3 to 4%, up to about 9%, which would be really good even in other. Looking back, we would have been feeling pretty good at that point, but we're moving back down again. We're really achieving full employment again.
That's really cool.
anyway, they've been, you really have to say they're fairly quiet. Couldn't ever talk about them. I mean, nobody knew they were coming until they came. They're
Right, yeah.
sworn to secrecy on that kind of stuff. Really sworn to secrecy. We won't come if they find out about us coming too early.
Right.
But they have been just amazingly good citizens in that way, in terms of bringing those kinds of jobs to town and stuff like that. So, pretty happy with them.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, you had talked about the businesses concerned, but we were wondering a little bit more about like what community concerned about Amazon coming to Salem.
Traffic.
Just traffic.
Yeah,
Traffic.
Traffic is huge, and again, you're out there. Think about where it is. It's out there in that Mill Creek industrial site. It's got Cordon Road, Kubler, kind of those roads out. There's not much out there, and you're going to bring in 1,000 to 2,000 people each day to go to work.
Yeah.
Right.
Probably in shifts, so it's not going to all happen at once.
Right, that's still a lot.
But it's
A lot of parking
so
space.
it was really traffic and disruption of what they had. Here in Salem, like any town, when you redevelop land from its natural state to this kind of income producing business state, with buildings and parking lots and things, it really is disruptive. It changes everything around you.
So, like with Amazon, has the traffic been or the disruptions you mentioned, has that been as bad as people expected them to be, or?
Not as no. I think people's expectations were really grim. And I think it's been managed better than that. I haven't heard, actually, since it's been built, I've not heard a word about it.
Right.
That's a
That's
good
awesome.
And there's more stuff going in out there, sort of like all stopped. So often when this stuff, I think that'll happen with Costco too. I think when they go in, there'll come a point where everybody sort of change the way you look at.
Right. It's like, oh, this one's as bad
Yeah.
as going to be.
Well, you start suddenly realizing you really can't get a hot dog for $1.25 or
Right.
$1.80.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I live on Lansing Avenue Northeast. There's these apartments being built across from that the marketplace, the Dawn Market.
Yeah.
So,
Silverton Road.
Silverton. I remember when those were being built, me and my friend who'd always walk by, we were really concerned about traffic and whatnot.
People.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to represent the Lansing neighborhood as one of the areas in my city council ward, and they really were very, very concerned about it. I was by there recently, and I was surprised at how good it was looking. I didn't see, of course, why would I? I mean, I'm just driving down Silverton Road, much of anything. I have not heard from the people in the Lansing neighborhood that they're having trouble with it.
Yeah. No,
It was so clearly going to be developed. I mean, if you think back, I don't know how many acres were there.
I remember.
Acreage right at a corner of Lansing's not real busy, but boy, Silverton Road is.
yeah.
I was surprised it sat there that long. That one at Lansing,
Just,
I'd be real curious. I've not heard, again, like I said,
exactly.
not heard a word
yeah.
since then.
We were concerned about it, but then no extra cars whatsoever.
I know, it's
not even
weird,
noticeable
isn't it?
difference. Yeah.
I think part of it is just we think, okay, you hear there's going to be 100 units. That's 100 people going to crowd onto Lansing headed down for market, to get out of here.
Yeah.
That isn't the way people do it.
Yeah, it's not all at once.
Traffic is more
Yeah.
scheduled.
They leave.
Spread out
They
or
leave once a
something.
day. They come back once a day. It's, Yeah.
How does someone let you know they're concerned about traffic in a certain area?
They'll send a note.
Let's send a note.
Yeah, they'll send usually mine that come as email. They might post something on one of the social sites. I don't follow those very closely. They just don't interest me. People who do that.
Yeah.
I see it because I'm like most boomers. I do it about my grandkids. That's
Yeah.
why I want to see my granddaughter with her horse. That kind of deal.
Yeah.
So I don't see it as a really good spot. But I do get emails on stuff, and I can tell when things are heating up because my email traffic goes up.
We were gonna discuss a little bit about the diversity of the city council.
Well,
I wanted to.
Diversity of
not.
thought.
Yeah, I think until recently it's not very diverse. We did add Jose Gonzalez, and took us up as diverse as it's been in quite a while, probably since George Puentes was on it, which it continues given percentage of our population that are Latino, that we have only one person right now. We probably should have two on our council to reflect.
I think we're
more like diversity of thought, or like
thoughts,
political.
like liberal.
Yeah, that too. That's not going real well.
Oh, really? That's all for you one
No,
second.
the council swings.
Yeah.
Okay, I see what you mean. I'm sorry. Right now, it tells you a lot about what we're thinking about on the city council. What's confronting us is a lot about racial equity, social justice, that kind of stuff. Stuff that you see on TV at night comes to us like it's happening here. Right now, the council is extremely progressive compared to where it's been. When I started, it was very, very conservative council. 12, 13 years ago. Just before that, it was very, very liberal. It was very conservative. Stayed conservative up until about 4 years ago. And now it is, I think, it's probably split on opinion between progressive and conservative, 6-3.
That's for
Do you think it'll
conversations.
flip again, like how it goes?
Oh, it does.
It
It
does.
will. It can't help it. Unless there's been a really dramatic change in public attitude here in Salem. You asked me about diversity. My answer is ethnic and racial diversity. That diversity of thought, hadn't thought of that in quite a while. But that is really in our face. And then COVID has been a real challenge. But pretty hard to disagree on disease. Disease and
Well, some
disease.
people find a way.
The other stuff, there are, I think, pretty universal opinion on homelessness that we're having a heck of a time, like every single other city in the
Really
world
is.
dealing with homelessness. It's just so hard.
especially with COVID going on.
Oh, yeah.
And with
especially
COVID,
with that,
you put all that
Perfect
together.
timing.
It's really
The
boy.
perfect storm.
Yep, it is, and you can see it when you drive out of here, go out Liberty, by right, and it's just like,
The other
are you
day.
kidding me?
Yeah.
Thank you, Bennett, for being our first guest, and thank you, listeners, for joining us. This was Business Balance. I'm Peyton,
I'm Quinn.
I'm Joseph.
I'm William.
and we will see you in the next episode.